Christian scholars who deny evolution at all stages are called creationists. To them, creation means that all animals were created in their finished forms, separately, all at the same time. This is certainly not the Quranic concept of creation. The following verse from Surah Al-Inshiqaq tells us that the human journey is continuous, moving on from one stage to another.
That you shall assuredly pass on from one stage to another. Chapter 84, verse 20.
This leaves us no doubt whatsoever to the fact that when the Quran speaks of creation, it speaks of progressive stages which are well provided for, categorically rejecting the idea of spontaneous generation.
The term evolution originally meant change through time. However, the definition is in constant flux. Descent through common ancestry, natural selection, survival of the fittest, random effects like genetic drift, change of gene frequencies and populations, and chance have all been added since Darwin coined this concept. There are two types of evolution, macroevolution and microevolution. Microevolution is slight, short-term evolutionary changes within species. In contrast, macroevolution is the origin and diversification of higher life forms, or evolutionary change on a grand scale, encompassing, among other things, the origin of new species. E. Mayer, in his book, The Growth of Biological Thought,
thinks a broader definition of evolution is needed, one that would include the multiplication of species and also the diversification within species, microevolution and macroevolution. Thus, the definition of evolution itself is evolving. According to the Darwinian principle of the survival of the fittest, for life to advance, nature has worked out an automatic method of sifting. This slow, continuous process becomes more pronounced when a species is confronted with challenges to its survival. It works in every area of animal activity. Charles Darwin, in his Origin of Species, issued a challenge which few people talk about.
If it could be demonstrated that any complex organ existed which could not possibly have been formed by numerous successive slight modifications, my theory would absolutely break down. Darwin, Chapter 6, in the sections Modes of Transition.
With this statement, Darwin produced a method whereby his theory of evolution could be tested. The logic was simple. Since evolution is a gradual process, whereby slight modifications produce advantages for survival, it cannot produce complex structures in a short period of time. It's a step-by-step process that may modify complex structures, but it cannot produce them suddenly. Now the question arises, why did life pursue an evolutionary course in one direction as if no other course was available? The only explanation offered by scientists relates to the role of natural selection. Though they fully understand the dimension and the gravity of the problem, they would have us believe that at every point of crucial decision-making, it was natural selection that made the right choice out of a countless number of available options.
However blind it may be, natural selection would always go for the right choice, and only the fittest would survive in a competitive world. But this choice, on the part of natural selection, they agree, is not conscious. The Holy Quran presents a different perspective on the issue of selection. And thy Lord creates whatever he pleases, and selects whomsoever he pleases. It is not for them to choose. Glorified be Allah, and far is he above all that they associate with him. Chapter 28, verse 69. According to Islam, there is an all-embracing plan of creation. At different stages of evolution, the processes that governed and shaped life were different, but their direction remained the same, always pointing to man. Again, God informs us in the Holy Quran. What is the matter with you, that you expect not wisdom and staidness from Allah, while He has created you in different forms and ever-changing states? Chapter 71, verses 14 and 15. In this verse, both the concept of intelligent design and evolution are introduced long before Darwin coined the idea and the Discovery Institute challenged it.
The purpose and philosophy of evolution is doubtlessly the creation and the promotion of our five senses. The creation of our senses, each of which in itself is a masterpiece of creative wonders, stands witness to a well-executed design of the grandest scale, where harmony rules supreme. It is no wonder that the Holy Quran sums up the entire process of evolution in just three simple terms.
The creation and perfection of the faculty of hearing, seeing, and understanding. And Allah brought you forth from the wombs of your mothers, while you knew nothing, and gave you ears and eyes and hearts, that you might be grateful. Chapter 16, verse 79.
Darwin did not believe in God, and had to formulate a theory removing God from any role as the creator and promoter of life. Since no designer is claimed in evolutionary theory, there is no need for any independent evidence of one. Now, most scientists agree with Darwin, but even the most fanatical scientists have to agree that there may be more to this subject than they wish to explore. For example, Richard Dawkins in his book, The Blind Watchmaker, states,
"Biology is the study of complicated things that give the appearance of having been designed for a purpose." And F. Crick, who discovered the structure of DNA, in his book What Mad Pursuit, states, "Biologists must constantly keep in mind that what they see was not designed, but rather evolved." In The Meaning of Evolution, George Gaylord Simpson repeats what is surely the official dogma of the contemporary scientific guild. Man is the result of a purposeless and natural process that did not have him in mind. Others extended Darwin's theory to include the origin of life and the creation of the universe itself. Yet, some scientists are a little more open-minded.